Okay, welcome to your next lesson on using Creo. This lesson is going to be focusing on this drawing here in front of us, which is an assembly drawing of the coupling link. You would have been drawing the coupling link parts and you would have assembled those previous to this lesson. If we just study the assembly drawing, we'll notice a few features. First of all, there's only enough views chosen to show the relationship between the parts. Remember that the major focus for any assembly drawing is to show this relationship. Relationship means basically how do the two parts fit together. And we can see if we look down to this front view, we've actually got a sectional front view. So the line AA coming through here. So anything behind the line AA has been cut away, and we're looking in at the front view what's remained. You'll notice that the pins here and here do not have any of the cross hatching on them that represents that they've been cut. Drawing convention tells us that pins and shafts, things of the type, actually, even though they are cut, we don't actually cross hatch them or show them as being cut in the correct representation. So I'll show you how to do that a bit later on. Over here, I've just got a 3D representation. We might put that in as a render a bit later on. Also, you've got the parts reference balloon numbers, or another name for that is bomb balloons, and you've also got your parts list over here. Okay, let's get into Creo and let's create this assembly drawing. Okay, obviously set your working directory to be the same directory that you've got all your parts in, and we're going to create a drawing. I always use the convention of naming them. If it's an assembly, literally name it assembly. And it'll be DRW, so it's an assembly coupling link. Remember, no spaces. Okay, I've already got one called coupling link. Let's call it coupling link 1. And this time you choose empty format, and this time browse though, you would have had this detail format, and now you've got an assembly format. So because it's an assembly drawing, of course we choose the assembly format. Click OK. Type in your necessary information. It's modelled by yourself. It's drawing number 2 because our detailed drawings were drawing number 1. It's grade 11, and the material once again is various. Okay, so you can see here now the difference between our detailed drawing and our assembly drawing. We now have this table. So the first thing to do is get this table in the correct position, parts table that is, and we need to move it up so it's sitting on top of the name block in the bottom right corner. This being a table, we need to be in the table mode, so click on table, come down here, select the table just by clicking it, grab a white handle and drag it out of the road a little bit, zoom right in, grab that white handle again, and you've got to try to get it to overlay on top of these other two lines here. They do tend to go blue when you've got it exactly right. And almost, I'll let you muck around and get that right. Okay, so the table's almost in the right position. Now we can bring in a view. Now, to bring in views, you need to be in the Layout tab. And if you haven't already got your model open, you'll need to select the model. So go Drawing Model, Add Model, and go find the assembly and open it. And if it doesn't come with set model, that's okay, because it means that only one model is actually active and it will be the default model. Done, return, and then you can insert your general view. Now you can right click, or you can go general up here, click OK to no combined state, and then left click, and we can see here we've got our standard isometric view coming in. We need to make this either a front view or a top view, so I'm just going to choose front and see where that takes me. Yeah, that's pretty much correct. I've got the correct orientation. And as far as scale goes, I think from previously drawing this, we're actually going to go for a scale of 1:1 for this one. But you don't know that scale until you've mucked around with it a little bit. I won't hit apply yet because if we zoom in here, we can see we've got white lines and also these sort of grey lines. The grey lines represent hidden detail, and for a sectional view and for most assembly drawings, you do not actually show hidden detail. So you're going to view display. Okay. So go to view display, sorry, and change it from hidden to no hidden, and apply. And now we've got enough for our front view, so we'll click close. Okay, move my front view down here a little bit, right click on it, insert projection view, left click, and let's project the top view off that front view. For this coupling link, there's really no purpose to side view. It's not going to reveal anything that we can't already see in the front view and top view. Okay, so at the moment, if we were to try to identify the relationship between the parts, we could see, yeah, okay, that the coupling is sitting down hard on this pin and so on. But realistically, we want to see inside the object to be able to see if there's any gaps or any relationships that we can't see. So to be able to see inside a view, we need to create a sectional view. So we need to cut this in half, and we need to peer in at what is left behind. I've just noticed too that my top view there has my hidden details. So I'm just going to open it up and also change that to no hidden and apply. And now we're going to turn our attention towards sectioning this front view. So simply double click on that front view, go to my section tab. At the moment there's no section, we want to have a 2D cross section. Click on the plus symbol. You can see I've got one there from there before, so what I might do is I might go create new. Our box pops up saying is it going to be a planar or an offset section. If it's just one full section going right across, it's planar, so we'll click on done. Give it a name. I'm going to call this one line section B. Enter. And this is an important part here. When you're sectioning in the assembly mode, it's a little bit different to sectioning in the detail mode. Sectioning in assembly, you can only use an assembly plane as a cutting plane. What I mean by that is this: if I turn my planes on and zoom in, zoom out, and I put my cursor on some planes, and the identification will come up. This is ATDM1, so that's from the part. I actually won't be able to use that to section with. So what I've got to do is create a assembly plane here, or a datum here, that I can use to cut with. So rather than selecting plane, I'm going to click make datum and just move that out of the row. I'm going to choose through, so through an existing plane or object, and then come across here to this plane that I can see and click once, and then come down and click on done. And you'll see now here that B over in the collector box has now got a green tick beside it. If I hit apply, we'll see that our front view becomes sectioned, and the last thing to do is then to add the sectioning arrows to this top view. There's two ways of doing that. One, you can slide this box along, click in the box that says arrow display, and then click on the object. Or if you forgot to do that and you've closed it, you can also do this. You can select the front view, right click, add arrows, and then select the top view, and it will add the arrows. And you can see here now that we've got a line that represents the line that the object's been cut on. So we'll turn off the planes again, and we can see here now that we can clearly see inside the object and see the relationship between the parts. There's no gap between the parts, which means they're all close fitting. Okay, now drawing convention tells us that pins, shafts, screw types and bolts and things, even though they've been cut by the cutting plane, they should not actually be shown in the view as being sectioned. So what we need to do now is we actually need to exclude these cross-hatching lines from the two pins. And you'll also notice that some of the cross-hatching is very small and very close together, which is hard to view, so we're going to edit that as well. Now you'll notice that as I move my cursor over the object, if I don't have the view selected, if I do have the view selected, I can't highlight the cross-hatching. If I deselect the view, move the cursor over, and while the cross-hatching is highlighted, double click on it, turns one of the pieces of cross-hatching to red. That's the active cross-hatching that we can actually edit. Down the right hand side here are the controls for what we can do. So the first thing I might do, I might change the angle of this cross-hatching. If I click on angle, I might change it to 45 degrees, you can see here. And I also might change the spacing, so I'll just scroll back up the top a bit, click on spacing, and I'm going to double the spacing between it. One, I'll zoom out again, can I see that? Yeah, I can see that, and that's okay. I finish with this one, I then scroll up the top, and I click on next, which then takes me to the next piece of cross-hatching. Makes sense. That was at 45, so I'm going to make this one basically almost a right angle to it. So once again, angle, and there'll be 135. And I think I'll leave that spacing okay for that large coupling. Click on next again, so scroll at the top. Now this time I want to exclude these cross-hatching lines. There's two options here, erase and exclude. I don't actually want to erase, actually just want to exclude cross-hatching from the part. Click on exclude, you'll see it disappears, and then we can, can we go up the top there? No, we can't. That's interesting. And done, I think. Yep, that's interesting. It jumped us out of there. We'll go back in there again. Scroll through next, next, next. There we go. And exclude. Oh, there we go. I just missed the next tool before that was all it was. So now we've got both lots of cross-hatching excluded. The last thing I might do, I might hit next and just adjust the cross-hatching on the coupling link above and below to be the same, because they are the same part basically. Well, same part, but you know what I mean. So we'll go with angle 135, and that's done for me. Click on done. Now you won't actually see the correct representation of this until you publish it. If you look at the PowerPoint, you'll see that you can actually see the outline of this pin as if it's not cut at all. We don't actually see that until we publish this as a PDF document. Now looking here at the finished product, we can see there's a few things still missing. We've got some center lines missing, and we've got some what we call bomb balloons or bill of material balloons missing. These balloons have a number in them, and those numbers relate directly to the identification down here in the parts list. So we'll do the bomb balloons first, and then we'll do the axis lines. So we'll go back to Creo. And bomb balloons, I think we said first. So I come up to the table tab, scroll across to where it says create balloons, click on the black arrow, and you've got a number of different options how you can put these balloons in. I want them to, most of them to appear on this view, so I'm going to select create balloons by view. If I now select the view that I want the balloons to appear on, you'll see I've got 1, 2, 3 coming in. That's 3 labels, but in actual fact I want to label this pin, and I also want to label the other coupling as well. There should be 2 1s and 2 2s. So I'm going to click on create balloons again, by view, click on the view, click OK to the warning, and you'll see now I've got 2 2s, 2 1s and a 3. Now you've got to ask yourself the question here, arrows pointing to the edge of the object as effective as maybe some other means. So what I'm going to do is illustrate how you can edit the type of balloon and its attachment to make it more effective. So I'm going to select the number 2 balloon there, right click, hold my mouse down and click edit attachment. This time, instead of being on the entity, I'm going to choose on surface, and I'm going to change it from being an arrow to being a filled dot. As I move my cursor over the pin now, you can see it's asking me to locate the end of the line. So I'm just going to click there, and you can see now that it's moved it to that position. If I click on, I think a center mouse button will finish that, yep. And then I'm going to move the 2 around there like so. And you can see now it's a filled dot, and it's on the surface of the object rather than being on the actual entity. And I'll do something similar here for this one as well. So it's on surface, filled dot, and I might move this one over there, center mouse button to finish, and just move him over here. Same with number 1, so similar technique, edit attachment, on surface, filled dot. I might go to the end here, and center mouse button to finish. Maybe pull that out like so. And this last number 1, I might place them over here as well, so it kind of makes sense to me. So select it, right click, edit attachment, and because it's next to the other 2, oh I forgot to fill dot that one, okay. Center mouse button, back here, I'll just edit this one while I'm there, fill dot, and center mouse button. Ah, actually, I just realised that's not working. Just what am I doing there? Edit attachment, on surface, fill dot. and click, then finish. Okay, I was missing that extra step there. A little bit tricky. Edit attachment, on surface, got to make sure that's highlighted, and then click on the object, otherwise it won't change. Then center mouse click. Trap for players there. On surface, fill dot, click on the object, and then center mouse. Okay. So we've got the number 1, 2, and sorry, numbers 1s and 2s, which relate to our coupling to our pin. The retaining clip, I'd suggest it may be more beneficial to identify the retaining clip in the top view. So same thing, select it, right click, add attachment, and you can go between views here. So there's the retaining clip in the top view, fill dot, select it again, center mouse button. Okay, now we've got our bomb balloons in. Okay, look back to our solution. And the last thing to do here is to put in our axis lines in our front view and our top view. And then when we're in PowerPoint, we'll put this render in, so we won't do it actually in Creo. So back to Creo, in the Annotate tab this time, select that view, click on Show Model Annotations. We don't want any dimensioning, so go down the very far right hand side to our center lines. Simply click on one of the center lines that's in the correct position, 1 and 2. And even though these are given as center lines, that's from the center of this arc, which we really don't want. So that's all we want for the front view. So click on Apply and Cancel. I'll now select that center line and click on the white dot and drag it just proud or just past the edge of the drawing. This is our convention for center lines. And then I'm going to do something similar on my top view here. Show model annotations, center lines, and I'm going to try to find some center lines that represent the centers of those two pins. 1, 2, apply and cancel. And then a similar thing here, center lines just about past the edge of the drawing. And you'll also notice here that the center lines are contained in the section line, so there's no need to extend them out past the end of the drawing. Okay, I think we're just about ready to publish that now. We've got everything in. Yep, okay, so to publish it, it's as simple as File. Put your, hover your button over the Save As, we don't click, and you'll see that you have a quick export PDF ability. If you click on that, it'll simply then create the PDF document for you. Save it into your working directory. Now you can see here everything looks as what we had planned, but the only thing that is different is that the correct representation of this pin that has the cross-hatching excluded from it is now correctly done. Once you've got it into the PDF viewer Acrobat, you can then save it as a JPEG, so you can then put it into PowerPoint, such as Save As, Image, JPEG. Obviously give it a name. This time it's going to be called Assembly Coupling. I'll put it 2013, why not? Make sure you crank the settings up to maximum, okay, and save. And obviously it may open, I'm not too sure, but you can put that JPEG into your PowerPoint presentation. Okay, just double checking we've got everything in there. Yep, that's us.